I was looking at my bank account the other day, the one I check way too often, and I had this weird sinking feeling. Like, I work hard, I pay my bills, mostly on time, and yet at the end of the month, it feels like my money just evaporates. It's not like I'm making one huge, disastrous mistake, It's not like I bought a solid gold toilet. It's just this slow, quiet leak. And I got so curious and honestly a little frustrated, so I started digging into it. And what I found completely blindsided me. It wasn't the big, obvious stuff. It was these tiny, almost invisible habits, things I was doing on autopilot, things I thought were totally normal that were secretly sabotaging my finances every single day. In this video, we're going to talk about 12 of those money habits. And my guess is you're probably doing at least 3 or 4 of them without even realizing it. This isn't about shaming anyone. I'm guilty of so many of these. It's about finally spotting those leaks so we can plug them together. Because what if the reason you feel broke isn't about how much you make, but about these quiet little routines you don't even think twice about? Let's find out. Habit 1. The small treat economy. You've had a long day, you're stressed, and you think, I deserve this. It's a $4 coffee on the way to work, a $15 fast casual lunch because you didn't feel like packing one, or a quick online purchase for something that made you smile after a tough meeting. Individually, these are nothing. They're trivial, but that's the entire problem. Our brains are wired to see these as isolated, insignificant events, not as a cohesive financial pattern. We don't add them up, but your bank account does. This is what I call the small treat economy. It's the invisible subscription service you didn't know you signed up for that's slowly draining your checking account. Let's do some brutal math. If you're spending just $10 a day on these little treats, which is incredibly easy to do, that's $300 a month. That's $3,650 a year. Look at that number. That's not loose change anymore. That's a flight to Europe. That's a significant chunk of a down payment on a car. That's several credit card bills paid off. The action step here isn't to never treat yourself. That's unsustainable. It's to become a curator of your treats. Make them intentional. Maybe it's a fancier treat once a week that you truly savor, instead of a mediocre one every day that you barely notice. Track these small expenses for just 1 week. You will be absolutely floored by what you find. Habit 2. The phantom subscription. This is the modern-day money leak. It's the gym membership you haven't used since January, the streaming service you keep for one show you watch 3 times a year, the monthly box of something that you often forget to even open. These are phantom subscriptions. They're like silent roommates living in your financial house, eating your food and not paying rent. The reason they're so dangerous is because of the psychology of automated payments. Once we authorize that monthly withdrawal, our brain basically files it away as a fixed cost and we stop seeing it. It becomes financial wallpaper. We don't make an active decision to spend that $12.99 every month, it just happens. And companies bank on this exact inertia. They know it's harder to cancel than it is to sign up. The fix? You need to conduct a subscription audit. Sit down, open your bank statement or a budgeting app, and scroll through the last 3 months of transactions. Every single recurring payment, write it down. Then for each one, ask the brutal question, does this bring me X dollars of joy or value every single month? Be ruthless. Canceling 3 subscriptions you don't use could easily put $30 to $50 back in your pocket every month. That's real money for things you actually care about. Habit 3. Grocery shopping without a game plan. Walking into a supermarket without a list is like going into a negotiation without knowing what you want. You will lose. Big time. Supermarkets are scientifically designed to separate you from your money through strategic product placement, lighting, and music. That's why the milk and eggs are always in the back. They make you walk through a gauntlet of temptations. When you go in without a plan, you're vulnerable. You're impulse buying that fancy cheese at the end cap, the buy one get one half off bag of chips you don't need, and the pre-made guacamole because it looks convenient. You end up with a cart full of food, but nothing that makes a coherent meal, so you waste food and order takeout later in the week anyway. It's a double whammy. The game changer here is embarrassingly simple. Make a list and stick to it. But take it one step further. Base that list on a rough meal plan for the week. It doesn't have to be a rigid hour-by-hour schedule, just a general idea like, okay, we'll have chicken twice, pasta once, and leftovers the other nights. This transforms you from a passive browser into an active, targeted hunter. You go in, you get what you need, and you get out. You'll not only spend less at the register, but you'll also dramatically cut down on food waste, which is just throwing money directly in the trash. Habit 4. Buying the premium version of your current life. This is a sneaky one. It's when you get a small raise or a tax refund, and instead of using that money to change your financial future, you use it to upgrade your current lifestyle in tiny, almost imperceptible ways. You don't move to a penthouse, but you start buying the name brand groceries instead of the store brand. You switch from your regular coffee to the fancy artisanal beans. You start using a rideshare app for trips you used to walk or drive yourself. You're essentially buying a premium skin for your same old life. The problem is, this inflates your baseline cost of living without you feeling any richer. It's like running on a treadmill. You're spending more energy but not actually getting anywhere. That extra $200 from your raise could be accelerating your debt payoff or building your investment portfolio. But instead, it's just getting absorbed into slightly nicer versions of what you already have. The antidote is to practice what's called lifestyle inertia. When new money comes in, try to consciously avoid letting your spending creep up with it for at least 6 months. Automate that extra income directly into a savings or investment account. You get to keep your financial progress without having to give up any of your current comforts.
Habit 5. Digital dollar dehydration. This is the 21st century version of your change jar, but the jar has a hole in the bottom. We're talking about those microtransactions, in-app purchases, and one-click online buys that are so frictionless, your brain doesn't even register them as spending real money. It's just a tap or a click. You're bored, you scroll, you see a cool gadget for $19.99, and you buy it. You're playing a game and spend $4.99 to get more gems. It's digital dehydration. A slow, steady drip of dollars leaving your account that you never feel until you're parched. The reason this is so dangerous is because it completely bypasses the physical pain of handing over cash that would normally make you think twice. To fight this, you need to reintroduce friction. One powerful method is to institute a 24-hour cooling-off rule for any non-essential online purchase. See something you want? Put it in the cart and walk away for a day. If you still genuinely want it and can articulate why it adds real value to your life tomorrow, then maybe you buy it. But 9 times out of 10, you'll forget about it entirely, and that money stays with you. Habit 6. The I deserve it tax on stress. This is deeply psychological. When we feel tired, overwhelmed, or unappreciated, we often subconsciously try to compensate ourselves with spending. Bad day at work? I deserve a nice dinner out. Argument with a partner? I deserve some retail therapy. It's an emotional spending tax we levy on ourselves, trying to buy a moment of happiness or relief. The purchase gives us a tiny hit of dopamine, a quick fix, but it does nothing to solve the underlying stressor. In fact, it often creates more stress later when the credit card bill arrives and the guilt sets in. It's a vicious cycle. Feel bad, spend money, feel briefly better, then feel worse because you spent the money. The key to breaking this is to decouple the feeling from the spending. You still deserve to feel better, but find a non-monetary way to grant yourself that kindness. It could be a long walk, calling a friend, watching a favorite movie, taking a long bath, or even just allowing yourself to feel the emotion without judgment. It's the feeling. I am stressed and I want to feel better, but don't give it your credit card number as a solution. Habit 7. The I'll worry about it later financial freeze. This is the habit of financial avoidance. It's that deep gut-level resistance to even looking at your bank account, opening that credit card statement, or checking your investment portfolio when the market's down. You're not spending recklessly. In fact, you might be overly cautious, but the inaction is just as costly. It's like knowing there's a leak in your basement, but being so afraid of how bad it might be that you never go down to look. The problem just gets bigger, moldier, and more expensive to fix. This avoidance is almost always driven by shame or fear. Shame about past decisions or fear of what you'll discover. But ignorance is not bliss, it's expensive. Late fees pile up, interest compounds on debt, and small, manageable issues balloon into full-blown crises. The breakthrough here is to shift your identity from someone who is bad with money to someone who is courageously facing their financial situation. Make a date with yourself, maybe with a cup of coffee and some music on, to just look. No judgment, no big decisions, just observation. You can't fix what you won't face. That single act of opening the statements is often the hardest part, and it instantly robs the habit of its power. Habit 8. The "this is just how much things cost" assumption. We get used to a certain price for things, and over time, as inflation happens and our lifestyles subtly creep up, we stop questioning the going rate. We stop shopping around. We become loyal to a specific brand or service out of sheer convenience, and we accept the annual price increases as inevitable. This is how you end up overpaying for everything, from your car insurance to your cell phone plan to your internet bill. You assume you're already getting the best deal, or the effort to find a better one just isn't worth it. But that complacency has a real price tag. Let's say you're overpaying by just $50 a month across your various subscriptions and bills. That's $600 a year for nothing. The simple hack is to become a periodic financial detective. Once a year, set a calendar reminder to do a bill audit. Spend 1 hour calling your insurance provider and asking for a better rate, comparing cell phone plans, and checking if you really need that high-speed internet package. This 1 hour of mildly uncomfortable work can literally pay you hundreds of dollars for your time. Habit 9. The one-size-fits-all money mindset. This is when you try to follow someone else's strict financial rulebook, even when it doesn't fit your life or your values, and then you feel guilty when you can't stick to it. Maybe a guru says, never buy coffee out again, but your weekly coffee meetup with a friend is your primary social connection and brings you genuine joy. So either you miserably skip it and feel deprived, or you buy the coffee and feel like a financial failure. Both outcomes are bad. This habit keeps you broke in spirit even if you're saving a few dollars, because it makes managing money a constant source of guilt and failure. The truth is, personal finance is personal. The goal isn't to maximize your net worth while minimizing your happiness. The goal is to align your spending with your personal values. The actionable step is to identify your own worth it categories. What do you truly love spending on? Is it travel, good food, hobbies? Protect those costs fiercely. Then find the things you don't care about at all. Maybe it's a fancy car, designer clothes, or cable TV, and be ruthlessly frugal in those areas. This is how you build a sustainable financial life that doesn't feel like a punishment. Habit 10. Financing a life you can't afford to impress people you don't like. This is a brutally honest one, and it stings a little because we've all done it. It's the upgraded car lease that strains your budget because you want to feel successful in the school pickup line. It's the vacation you put on a credit card so your Instagram looks as cool as everyone else's. It's the expensive rounds of drinks you buy to feel like a big shot. This habit is rooted in social anxiety and comparison. We're trying to close the gap between our internal reality and the curated highlight reel external world we see. But the dirty secret is you're often going into debt to fund a performance for an audience that is too busy worrying about their own performance to even notice. The financial cost is the interest and debt. The emotional cost is the constant feeling of being behind, of being an imposter in your own life. The way out is to practice what I call financial authenticity. Get radically honest with yourself about what you truly want your life to look and feel like, separate from the noise. When you feel the urge to spend for show, pause and ask, is this for me or is this for them? Redirect that energy and money into things that build genuine security and joy for you, not the illusion of it for others. Habit 11. The "it's on sale" fallacy. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and our brains fall for it every time. We see a price slashed from $100 to $70, and we perceive it as saving $30. But here's the truth. You didn't save $30. You spent $70. If you weren't planning to buy that item at full price, you didn't save a dime. You just parted with $70 you otherwise would have kept. Retailers create this artificial urgency and a sense of winning to trigger our fear of missing out, FOMO. We end up buying things we never wanted in the first place simply because the deal seemed too good to pass up.
This clutters our homes and empties our wallets. The mental shift is to reframe your thinking. The only time you are truly saving money is when you walk away from the transaction entirely, keeping your cash in your pocket. Before any sale purchase, ask the definitive question: would I buy this right now if it were still full price? If the answer is no, you haven't found a deal, you found a trap.
Habit 12.
Waiting for the perfect time to start. This is the master habit that locks all the others in place. It's the belief that you'll start budgeting, investing, and getting your act together when you get your next raise, when you have more time, when you feel more knowledgeable, when things settle down. Spoiler alert, that day never comes. The perfect time is a myth designed to protect us from the discomfort of starting. The truth is, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Waiting doesn't just cost you the money you could have saved, it costs you the most valuable asset in building wealth: compound interest, or the growth on your growth. A small amount started now will almost always outperform a larger amount started later. The single most important action you can take is to break the paralysis of perfection. It doesn't have to be pretty. Open a savings account and automate $25 a month. Buy one share of a low-cost index fund. Just take one small, imperfect step forward. Momentum is built through action, not through waiting. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single, messy, unconfident step. Take it. So that's a lot to take in, I know. And look, if you're sitting there realizing you're guilty of like 5 of these habits, welcome to the club. The first step is just awareness. The second step is doing this together. If this video resonated with you, if it felt like we were just unpacking this stuff like friends over coffee, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free and it just lets you know when we've made another video that might help you feel a little more in control of your money and your life. This channel is all about pulling back the curtain on the psychology of money. And honestly, your thoughts and experiences are the most valuable part of it. So if you have a habit that's been a game changer for you, or one of these 12 that really hit home, drop a comment below and let me know. Let's get a conversation going and learn from each other. And finally, if you know one person, a friend, a partner, a coworker, who is smart with their money but still feels that quiet leak every month, share this video with them. Maybe it'll be the conversation starter that helps you both build a healthier financial life. Thanks for watching. Now, go plug a leak.